Hello, garden friend. Today I thought we'd do a quick before tour of the garden. This is March 2025, and the garden is mostly asleep, but a lot of things are waking up. I have a lot of chores to do, and I thought it would be great to document the garden in this state because in a few months, this place is going to be bursting at the seams, and it's always great to have a before and after. Thank you for joining me in the garden today, and welcome to Finding Joy in the Garden. Now, I know a lot of us are itching to just get started with gardening, but let me show you the state of my garden in between seasons. So, I didn't do any fall gardening or spring gardening because I am trying to fix these beds up. These, see, 4 here and 2 here. So, I needed the beds empty, well, relatively empty. But let me show you what's still going on. This here was a surprise to me because I planted this. This is a snapdragon, the Purple Prince snapdragon, if I'm correct. And it was said to be an annual. But this thing never died. It never even slept. It was present in winter in the snow. It looked just like this. But now it has started putting on more foliage. I have this scattered all over the garden. There's one here. I have 2 in the other bed there, and I'm quite pleased that they overwintered and they look so healthy. Here I have some green onions, and this is the time of the year when they get so big, they swell up, and that's because they are about to make seeds. So they're going to seed. You see this here? These are the seed pods where the seeds are going to come from. So out here I'll have a wall of green onions and then some leeks that also from last season. Now these leeks were covered by the blue spice basil. If you watch my older videos, I had a mess of blue spice basil over here. Just 2 plants and they took over a quarter of this bed. So these leeks never got to grow, but now they're trying to do something. And I have one here that's way bigger because she wasn't covered by the basil, so you can see. This one looks bigger. Now I also have some daikon radish, and this one is going to seed, and this is how you can tell they start to get taller. It's kind of in the shade, so I hope you can see it, but they get taller. Let me see, I have one here too. There you go. So they stretch out, and then at the top here you can see the little seed head, like the flower head starting to form. So they're going to seed. This is my first time ever planting daikon radish, and I just really did it because I wanted to improve the soil a bit. It has a long root system that kind of breaks up the soil, so that's why I put it in here. I have Georgia clay soil here. So if I didn't mention, I garden here in zone 8A in Georgia. So you can see my soil. Let me show you a glimpse of it. Over there, that red, that's what I got. Now in this bed I have some thyme, which I'm going to have to move. It's in a pot, but I'm going to put it in the ground somewhere. This thyme has been sitting in this pot for, I don't know, 2 years. And then back here I have this 3-year-old kale. This is her 3rd season, and I usually just cut it back when she starts to flower, and then she keeps growing. So this is her 3rd season. I may move her because she is in a very inconvenient spot, but who knows, I may just leave her there. Now as you can see, I've got a lot of weeds in my walkway because the cardboard boxes I used to cover this soil here obviously got blown away. This is what happens every season. I've done this 2 or 3 seasons now, where I cover the entire bed and the walkways with cardboard. This year I do believe I will be using weed fabric to cover this, so some black weed fabric to cover the walkways, and I'll still use the cardboard boxes in the actual beds. We'll see how that goes. Now, what do you see here? These are my 2 tunnels, my tomato tunnels made with cattle panels. But if you can see over here, this one is doing the lean. Do you see her? She's doing the lean over that way. So I do need to fix that one. The T-post is leaning, so I need to take it out and put it back in. I think the soil there was a little too soft because I put in a compost system right here, and I think that messed with the integrity of the soil there. So I'm going to have to redo this. So just move the T-post and reset this. So I think I will still be planting tomatoes here this year. I have onions everywhere, some chives. Chives are forever. Chives are forever. So this one just started sprouting again. It was dead a couple weeks ago. Well, it looked dead. You know chives don't die. So there you go. Now let me show you one of the flowers. All right, here. It's always the little things. This here is a black-eyed Susan, and this is probably from a seed that fell, I would say 2 years ago, because I planted black-eyed Susans right here in this spot. Was it 2 or 3 years ago? And it went to seed here, and then I moved it from here because it was just too big for the entrance to the garden. And that year, so last year, I found a lot of seedlings here and I moved them all, but this one came up here. So it's probably a 2-year-old seed, and look at it, it's so beautiful. It's bigger than anything I planted myself. And right by it are some green onions, but these are the Egyptian walking onion. And I put one right here. It had bulbules, so that's how it grows. It grows with little bulbules at the tip, and that fell over. Doo-doo-doo. And now I have 2 over here growing. So that's why it's called walking onions. It just walks around your garden. I only bought 4 plants of walking onions, and I have, I don't know, maybe 50 right now. But I'm gonna move this. This is so beautiful. I'm gonna move this to another part of the garden where I have black-eyed Susans growing, because I don't want it here. It's gonna be too tall. And would you look at that? There's another one growing here. All right, let me show you this one here. It's in the shade a bit, but there's another one growing right here. See, I love volunteer plants. I absolutely love them. So I picked like 5 or 6 of this from last year. And look, it's still growing. These are 2-year-old seeds. I love it. All right. If you ever plant black-eyed Susans in your garden, I don't think you can get rid of them. If you let them flower, they will just throw seeds everywhere. Like in this bed here, I had 1 black-eyed Susan, and there are seedlings popping up literally everywhere. So that's a whole mess of black-eyed Susan. And there's some in here too. So, black-eyed Susans, if you want flowers that you don't have to bother about replanting, that would be one for you. And speaking of things you may never have to replant, there's another Egyptian walking onion. I put 1 here. It had a baby over there, so it's just going to take over this area. So I have regular green onions here and Egyptian walking onions here. So as you can see, I haven't done anything to these beds except I have been digging it up and putting kitchen scraps in it. So I've done over here, I probably have like 5 or 6 holes where I put in bags of kitchen scraps, and that's just to build this garden bed up because it's a new bed. I made this last year and I didn't put really much soil in here, so there's not a lot of good nutrition here. So I'm trying to build the soil up, putting kitchen scraps. I've done that to this bed, that one over there, this one over here, and I need to get to this one here. All right, we're back to the front of the garden, and this was the reason I wanted to start this video, because I moved this plant. This is the California poppy, and they don't transplant well. But what happened was, last year I planted the California poppy really late because I saw pictures of it and I said, oh my goodness, it's so cute, I need to have it. So then planted at the right time. I got a few flowers and then it kind of went dormant. So I moved the plant from over there where it was sitting to this area here, which is a different microclimate. This area of my garden stays warmer than everywhere else. So I moved it behind my citrus plants. These are citrus, and I'll show you in another video when I take the frost cloth off to see if they're still alive and kicking. So I put it right here behind the citrus plants, and because of all the covering for the citrus plants and it being so close to the house, it actually was in a warmer area than everything else, and it actually survived. Usually it's an annual here in Georgia, if I'm not mistaken, but it was actually alive until it snowed. When it snowed, I think when I threw an extra frost cloth over the citrus, some of it was laying on it. So it actually did not die. And I just noticed it had buds sitting behind there, and I knew I would never see them. So I moved them here. I think I broke some of the roots. It does have a long taproot system. So I did break one of the roots. I tried to put the part I saw back in the ground and water it. So we'll see if it makes it. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But hey, it would be great to have some poppies. I need some flowers. Now, the other thing I did was here I had some lemongrass and I covered it to see if I could keep it alive. Now, lemongrass is an annual herb here in zone 8A, but it can be perennial in like zone 10 and up. I was just trying to see if I could keep it alive. Now, of course, there's a weed growing there to make it look like there's something green happening. It looks pretty dead, but we shall see if it will come back from the roots. But I've kept it covered throughout the winter, just with a frost cloth, nothing special. And we'll see if it comes back. So subscribe so you can find out what happens to the lemongrass. I do have some already replanted because I'm not playing those games. I need my lemongrass, whichever way. So I have some somewhere in this mess here. These are by winter sown containers, and they're covered not because it was cold. It was actually warm. Yesterday it was in the 70s, high of 70s. But we had a storm pass through with winds of 70 miles per hour, and I just didn't want all these bags to fly away in the wind or any of the containers to be thrown about. So I threw the frost cut on them just to keep it together. Also, there was supposed to be some hail, so I was just trying to prevent damage to the containers. And I will take the cloth off today when I have a second. So this here is what I call a citrus aisle. So it starts off here in my little kitchen garden, which is mostly dead. I do have some rosemary right there. And there is thyme in here, but it's covered. I have some lemon thyme. Back there, some lettuce. But citrus aisle, I only have one citrus plant here that I didn't really cover properly. And that one looks like it died back a bit. But the stems still look green, so I expect it to wake up, hopefully. Now, here's something that was awake most of the winter. She woke up over a month ago. This is the goji berry. Now, if you ever plant goji berry, remember that it is, I wouldn't say invasive, but it's very aggressive. So I have mine in a container, and under the container, I have a little plastic saucer so that it doesn't set roots in the ground. And I got fruit off of it last year, so I'm impressed with it. It doesn't taste very nice. It's not fruity. It tastes like a vegetable, but it's supposed to be good for you, and it's pretty to me. It does have thorns, so be careful when you when you touch it. You can get some pokies. Now this is my rose bush, and this rose bush was here before I was. So I am only just learning about roses, don't know the first thing about them. But last year I pruned her for the first time. She is pretty tall, and I know most people keep their roses short, but I love to sit in the porch and just look out and see the rose, so that's why I'm not cutting her back. But I do have plans to take this branch off. Now you can see this cut here. I did this last year because this was growing really into the walkway, and I would walk by and get stuck by the thorns. So I cut it back, but I think I need to cut it back all the way to that end, because then I will get all this extra space for planting, and your girl is looking for more space to plant. All right, now, so we've looked at these beds here. This is the kind of entrance to my garden, and last year I had black eyed Susans growing from these two pots, and they were beautiful, but I have a new plan this year. I'm going to plant something with white flowers. That's my plan. I need white flowers here. So we'll see how it turns out. Make sure you subscribe so you can see. I think I'm going to put white flowers here, and probably something climbing also with white flowers. So I have a vision in my head. I hope it pans out. I have my grapes here. They haven't woken up yet, but this is the razzmatazz grape, and I'm going to have to get it to climb up this arch. That's what this arch is for. But while it's still growing, I am planting other things like flowers on the arch, because we got to use the space we have. Now, this is my green stalk, and I let everything in here pretty much die because they're mostly peppers, which are annuals anyway, but I had some kale and stuff. I didn't water it at all through the winter, so most of it is dead. I do have this sparkling, not sparkling, dazzling blue kale, which I actually moved from over there where the rabbits were bothering her and put it here. I cannot grow any greens in ground because the rabbits love greens apparently, and I can't have any. So I've moved her here, and the only other thing that survived was this salad burnet. Now this is a leafy green. You can eat it raw, you can put it in salads, and it is tenacious. It grows, it doesn't care. Now this is the old foliage. I need to come clean this up, but this is all new. And she went through, I didn't water her, I didn't fertilize her, but she's happy here. See that? And she's pretty too. So if you're looking for a green for your salads that can take the heat, can take the cold, can be neglected, those are my favorite kind of plants. Salad burnet. I will be redoing this here because if you've watched my older videos, you know that this fell last year during a storm. I'm surprised it didn't fall during the 70-mile-per-hour storm we just had, but it fell last year, and that's because it's on a slant. Nothing wrong with the system. It's my fault. I put it here on a slant, which you're not supposed to. So I think I will take that off and dig under it to kind of level the ground and then put it back up. Also, I need to take the tiers down and fertilize this. The soil in here is atrocious. It was a bagged soil, and to me it feels like straight dirt. So I need to do something to beef it up. It is no good. Here is pepper aisle. This is always my favorite part of the garden. No, not really. Nah, I just love peppers. But everything is dead here, except I did put some seeds down in here for some zinnias, and the wind has been blowing it around, but I covered it with this garden cloche. There you go. So I have 3 different kinds of zinnias. I put a lilliput zinnia here and a mini zinnia here. I don't remember the name of that one there, but I have them all covered because I want flowers early. I think, let me see, it might be a weed or it might have germinated. It's germinating. Looky, looky. Hi, baby zinnias. Hi. Hi, say hello to mommy. There you go. All right, so they're awake. Oh, that's exciting. Okay, so this is kind of winter sowing, but winter sowing in place, which is where you put the seeds in the container you're going to grow them in out in winter, and they germinate out there. So it's not a special container like the milk jugs. So winter sowed in place, and let's see if the other one has woken up. Yeah, I see progress. I see growth. Hopefully they're not just weeds. Yep. See some zinnias in there. That's great. All right, I'm gonna get some flowers. Most of my zinnias this year I intend to direct sow because I hear that they like to be direct sowed. So we'll see. We'll do a little comparison. Now I have been chopping. Look at all these branches. I hope it's showing up on camera. So this tree here is the bane of my existence. This is the Chinese privet tree, and it is invasive here in Georgia. It is evergreen. It makes these tiny berries. Let me see if I can show you. There you go. Makes these tiny berries. The birds like to eat it and drop it everywhere. And these seedlings come up literally everywhere. Let me see if I can find one. Yep. So last year I was walking through here and pulling seedlings. I kept wondering, what is this? Because there were literally hundreds of them and all over the property. And then I eventually figured it out because they were mostly under this tree. And that's how I figured out they were seedlings. That's an ivy, another invasive thing I have in my garden. English ivy, you see that? Yeah, but these seedlings here, I pull hundreds of them. But when they grow up, they grow into these gigantic trees. and I don't want them anymore. So I cut back a lot of them because it takes up a lot of space in the garden, and my hair kept getting caught on these branches when I was in my pepper garden. So I cut these back. But right next here, I have some raspberries. And when I tell you these squirrels do not wish for me to be great, that's exactly what I mean. I planted 3 of these raspberries in this wine barrel. Is that what it's called? Yeah, half wine barrel. And they literally dug up 2 of them. I only have 1 here that survived their onslaught. And from that one, I have all this growth coming through. And I do see this here. It looks like it's spreading. So the reason I put it in this container is I do not want it to take over my entire garden. Like I said, I already have invasives everywhere. I don't need more. So I put it in this container, and then under it I have this concrete slab so that the roots cannot go in the ground, because raspberries will definitely take over there. But I did put some blackberries in the ground, and I mean, they do have the potential to spread as well. But on either side there is grass, so we will be mowing on either side of it. And I already have wild blackberries with thorns in my garden, so these ones are thornless. So if they spread, I don't think I'll be too mad. Now over here are some more berries. Isn't this so cute? I love to see this every year. These are blueberry flowers. Let me see if I can give you a better view. There you go. Isn't that so pretty? So this is covered in flowers. And then her sister over here, who's taller, is also covered in flowers. I didn't prune the blueberries this year. I did last year. But wow. Now this blueberry plant has been very kind to me, because I have not one day watered her or fertilized her or done anything but prune her once last year. So kudos to you, baby girl. Kudos to you. The trees are waking up. This is the Asian pear tree. It's a 2-in-1 Asian pear tree. You can see the leaves. Oh, say hi to the shadow. Hi, shadow. Yes, so I'm always so excited when the trees start to wake up. These are mostly asleep. I have a pomegranate over there, actually 2. But let me show you flowers. Look at that. Aren't they so pretty? This here is the sun gold nectarine. And it's a very small plant, but it has all these flowers on it, and I cannot bring myself to take them off. So I'm just going to let them do what they do. And this one here was the first to wake up. I think it's a pluot. The marker fell off, but I have a record somewhere of what it is. I'll find it. But yeah, look at her. Isn't she majestic? Another Asian pear. Also waking up. And over here I have, I think that's an apricot. Let's see. Let's see. Oh no, this is a plum. This is Santa Rosa plum. And then this is the apricot, the Flavor Giant apricot. Nothing is exciting as trees waking up. I love perennial herbs. This is the winter savory. Look at her. She's waking up. So this is what she looked like over winter. This dry. I mean, it was green, but you know, it looked like she was struggling. Look at that. It looks almost like thyme, isn't it? It's a very strong smell. And here's my sage. This sage did absolutely nothing last year. It looked like this all year, like this, struggling. And then she's waking up and she's growing. I just took the top off here because I wanted her to bush out, and she's doing just what I asked. I did plant some more sage, so I'm gonna have more of that in the garden. Would you like to see one of my winter sown containers? Let's see, who shall we unravel today? Let's see, I think this is a calendula. Yeah, this is a playtime calendula. And if you don't know about winter sowing, I will leave the playlist in the description box. But this is, it's been out here in winter. This is how I start all my plants for my garden. So here in this plastic cup, this is the playtime calendula. And you can see these plants look delicious. I also have things growing in milk jugs. Here I have some Gumfrina and snapdragons looking wonderful. I've got some seed snails growing basil, and I have a video of that as well. and many other containers hanging out here. I will do a video showing all these when they're all grown up. Now over here we have some apple trees which are also starting to wake up. You see the little, so I have 3 in a row here, and some peach trees. This is the peach state after all. But aren't these peach flowers so beautiful? Like I said, the plant is mighty small, but I can't do it. I can't pull the flowers. They might all drop, so nature will have her way. And that's another peach tree. It had 2 flowers which have dropped, I believe. So see, I didn't have to do it. I have 4 grapevines, 1 which may be dead, but these 2 have been here for a couple, maybe 2 years. Still haven't put up a trellis system. Somebody told me to. And this one I just transplanted because it was very close to the pepper aisle all by itself, and I figured I'd move it over here. There is the pineapple guava, which stayed here all winter, no protection, and took it like a champ. I have a pomegranate tree there and a fig tree, which I'm not sure either one of them are alive, so we shall see in a sec. This here is my oldest apple tree. I think it's two years old now, and it's a 5-in-1 apple tree. Are these? Ooh, they are flower buds. Okay, I'm ready. I would like to have apples this year. Last year I had some kind of bug infest the apples, so we'll see if we have better success this year. And also, here are my kiwis. I'm not sure which one is male and which one is female. So I bought these and they came together as a pair, male and female, but they weren't labeled. Who does that? So I have no idea which one is male and which one is female. The problem being, I want to trellis just the female one and make a smaller trellis for the male one. Not sure which is which, so I may throw a trellis in between them, and when they flower I should be able to tell which one is male and which one is female. But that's my dilemma. Here I have some cherries. I had 4 cherry trees in here and 2 unfortunately didn't make it, so anyway, I don't remember her name. Let's see, what's your name, baby? The Rainier cherry. Rainier cherry. Rainier. And this one is the Bing cherry. And they're both starting to bud. So pretty. Now I have some work to do here. See, I'm trying to clear out this area to put some flowers and other plants. So this here, I just learned, is called heavenly bamboo. Another invasive plant. I didn't plant any of these, but it makes these beautiful berries, which are poisonous. And I think it is a little hard to get rid of. It has very strong roots. I tried to pull this one up here. So see, I cut it down and I was trying to dig, and this thing fractured my shovel. I heard a pop 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 sound. My shovel is kind of broken, so I'm gonna have to figure another way to get it out of here. But I have a whole bunch of them here I want to get rid of. If you have any ideas on how to get rid of this, let me know in the comment section. I transplanted a few of these last year. These are daffodils and they haven't flowered yet. I'm not sure if I didn't plant them deep enough or the fact they were being disturbed by squirrels is a problem, but there they are. And then I just moved those a few days ago over here, some grasses, and I'm not sure if those are daylilies or if they're regular lilies. I don't know. We shall see when they flower. Now this here is a peony, and I moved her also from another part of the garden 2 days ago, and I thought she would keel over and die, but here she is. She's happy. So we'll see if she flowers this year, because I did bother her and her sisters. I moved about 5 plants. Here are some can't say my word today. Shasta daisies. I have 3 clumps of them here, which I put in last year, and they did flower last year, so we'll see. I love Shasta daisies. They're beautiful. And these are daylilies, if I'm correct. This here is my flower garden, which I am so excited with because most of the perennials came back. This is that snapdragon I showed you in the other bed. She's all over this garden. I've got her here, I've got her here, she's all the way over here. If you ever want to try a snapdragon, if you are in zone 8A, try this Black Prince. I believe it's Black Prince. I'll put the name on the screen. The Black Prince snapdragon, she is beautiful and she definitely likes to be here. Now I have some other plants. This is a wild thyme. It smells delicious. And so many volunteers. These are, looks like black-eyed Susans, some kind of Rebecca. Because I had black-eyed Susans all throughout here. And I also had a different Rebecca over there. So I'm not sure who is coming up, but I'm keeping them all. Every volunteer that comes up here is staying. I'll move them around, but they all stay. These are yarrow. So this one, the rabbits really enjoyed last year. I hope they let them be this year for me because they are beautiful. I have clumps here, kind of across that way. That's one type of yarrow. And then I have another one, which they didn't eat as much. So maybe this might be the one for me. But she has spread. It's like a mat of yarrow over here. I had gomphrena there, so I may put it again there. I'm not sure yet. And then I have salvia here, which did not bloom for me last year, so I'm expecting some blooms this year. So I have salvia in a line there. Now back here, if I pull this back, this is what I am most excited about. Creeping thyme. It's going to be a ground cover. And of course, black-eyed Susan. Look at her. When I tell you this thing spreads or reseeds herself, she does. But this, I just put a little plant here and it's just walking around. It's just creeping like it's supposed to. And it should flower, I hope, this year, and that should be beautiful. Now, something I just moved to this part of the garden here is this. This is thyme. This is the lemon thyme, and this is from a cutting from my other lemon thyme that I've had for about 3 years, and I just think she will be pretty here, especially when she flowers. She has beautiful little purple flowers, so that's why I moved it over here. The strawberries are starting to wake up, and I actually finally planted my alpine strawberries that I grew from seed. So these are white strawberries, and I grew them from seeds last year and left them in a cup all season long. And it only took me 1 minute to transplant them. I don't know why I didn't do that. So anyway, I have three, one here, another one here and there. The rest of them are regular red strawberries. I need to come work on this. I actually need to fertilize it, but that's for another day. Still have some carrots in here covered with this to prevent the squirrel from bothering them, and some lettuce in here, but I'm transitioning this pot over to nasturtium. So I just put 2 seeds in here and they have germinated. Do you see them babies? So nasturtiums here, there, and everywhere. I have 4 containers with nasturtiums. And then back there is my most successful lettuce planting. So let me see. The squirrels jump into everything and dig up, so I had to cover it with tulle. I got this idea from Robbie and Gary. Yeah, I think that's her name. But yeah, I bought this tool because she mentioned it in one of her videos. And actually this container as well, this is a dish pan, she mentioned that as well. So yeah, it works really well. Look at all this lettuce. I definitely need to make a salad. So these red lettuces seem to do better than the green here in winter. There you go. If you would like to watch a video showing what my garden looks like in the heat of summer when everything is growing, click on this video. Or if you would like to learn more about winter sowing, how to start seeds outside in winter, click on this video. And until next time, may you always find joy in your garden and your life. Bye, garden friend.